Welcome back, students. My name is Rahul, and in this video I'm going to discuss the preparation of alcohols using alkenes. And this is the second process. The first process I was explaining in the previous video, and this is hydroboration, and that should be followed by oxidation process. Okay, so simply what we have to do here, we have to take some alkene. The requirement is alkene, and this alkene is allowed to react with a diborane, that is B2H6. This is called as a diborane. And after the reaction, we get here some addition product. Okay, and that addition product we have to just oxidize to get alcohol. Then we have to oxidize to get a product. That product is alcohol here. Some noticing points are there here. We'll discuss very deeply for this reaction. So let's see the reaction, what is there. I will take here the molecule, that is CH3, CH, double bond, CH2. And I just represent the diborane as HBH2. Instead of writing B2H6, the one part of the molecule I'm going to write, that is HBH2. Okay. Now you just closely observe that the boron is electron deficient because in that the pz atomic orbital is empty. And therefore the pi bond exists between the carbon, and the carbon get migrate towards this that is boron. Now the hydrogen, which is connected with the boron, it takes its bonding electron and gets shifted towards this carbon. And let's see what we have here. CH3, C, H, single bond, CH2. This side I have here BH2. Okay, and on this side I have one hydrogen over here. This is the addition product. Okay, so again the boron can undergo the reaction with alkene because still there are two hydrogens are there. So therefore I will take the same molecule in the next step. Therefore I need one more alkene here, that is CH3, single bond, CH, double bond, CH2. I'm going to write the same molecule here, that is hydrogen, boron, and still there is one hydrogen, because out of two hydrogens, one hydrogen is here, the other hydrogen is here. The next it is connected to CH2, then here CH, and here is one hydrogen, and then it is CH3. Okay, so again the same procedure takes place here. This pi bond migrate towards its boron, hydrogen and boron bond is there, in that hydrogen take its bonding electron and get migrate to second carbon. The same thing happens repeated here. Then we get here CH3, CH, single bond, CH2. On this side I'm going to write, check the molecule how it is there, BH, then remaining part, that is CH2, CH, and here is one hydrogen is there, this is hydrogen H, and then it is connected to CH3. And now there is still one hydrogen is there, and one hydrogen we have to write to this carbon because it is shifting towards the second carbon, right? So therefore still there is one hydrogen here. Okay, so this is also addition product. Now what I will do that, still there is one boron hydrogen bond is there, so therefore again it can add across the alkene. Therefore I need one more alkene here, that is CH3, single bond CH, double bond CH2. Now this molecule I'm going to write once again here, hydrogen, boron. So this time I'm going to write in a different way. This is the part CH2, then CH, then here is one hydrogen, and then we have here CH3. Such two molecules or the substituents get attached to the boron. Therefore I'm going to write here twice. So here again the same procedure takes place here. Pi bond get migrate towards the boron because boron is electron deficient. Why electron deficient? Because in the pz there is empty orbital is there in a boron, and again this hydrogen take its bonding electron and get migrate towards the second carbon. Okay, so we get a product, that is boron bracket. Okay, so it forms CH2, CH, here is one hydrogen, then again here is CH3. and this should be a 3 times now, and this is addition product. Okay, after this, boron do not undergo the addition process with alkene because there is no hydrogen with boron right now. Now whatever you got the addition product, this product should be oxidized. Okay, so I will take the same molecule here, that is I will invert this molecule. It will be easy to understand. CH3, CH, CH2, and here is one hydrogen is there, and then it is connected to a boron bracket 3 times, same molecular rating. So now what I will do, that I will oxidize this in presence of hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, and it easily get oxidized and converts into CH3, CH2, CH2. So instead of writing CH2, I will write as CH, because you should know where the hydrogen is there under CH, and then it extends CH2, and this boron carbon hydrogen is there now. It will breaks here, and OH parties get attached to this carbon, and I get here, that is OH. OH get attached here, and at the end of the byproduct is here, the byproduct is H3 BO3, and you just notice that this alcohol, whatever you got the alcohol, this alcohol is very interesting. We got a terminal alkene, and in the terminal alkene, the OH group attached to a terminal carbon. Okay, so we get here one propanol, and this is terminal alcohol. It is the terminal alcohol. Okay, and this entire reaction, the scenario of this reaction, you can see that the OH attaching, this is a negative part, right? Whatever is the reagent right now here. So this is a negative part of the reagent going to that carbon which containing more number of hydrogens, and that exactly opposite to that of the Markovnikov's rule. It means that this reaction follows anti-Markovnikov rule. Okay, you just remember. One more point I want to tell you, that you just notice the reaction. The addition of the diborane or BH2 or BH3 across this alkene, you can notice that the electron density between the alkene is migrating towards the boron, and hydrogen taking its bonding electron and migrating towards the secondary carbon, right, or second carbon. So just the overview is here. In the boron hydrogen bond, in that the hydrogen gains a negative charge and boron gains a positive charge. The addition of boron or hydroborane to the alkene follows the Markovnikov's rule. Actually, it follows the Markovnikov's rule when you talk about the negative part of the reagent and positive part of the reagent. But when you talk about the hydrogen itself, then it follows the anti-Markovnikov's rule. Because in the most of the reagent, the hydrogen carries a positive charge, but this is the only one reagent that carries here negative charge. Hope you understood this reaction, students. Okay. Well, we'll see the next one, the preparation of alcohols from the carbonyl compounds. This is next second part, preparation of alcohols from carbonyl compounds. And we know that the carbonyl compounds are nothing but a compounds which containing the group, that is CO group. And in that, the first one I'm going to write the reactions or reduction of aldehydes and ketones. Reduction of aldehydes and ketones. Very simple reactions are there. So what we have to do here, we have to take aldehyde, for example, RC double bond O, and here is H, this is aldehyde, and now this molecule is allowed to react with a hydrogen gas. Okay, you can use here a catalyst like palladium, platinum, nickel, or whatever it is, but you have to use some metal catalyst here. The hydrogenation takes place across the carbon oxygen double bond, and we get the product here RCOH, and here is one hydrogen attached, and we get here already one hydrogen is there with this, and we get here aldehyde, and this alcohol is a primary alcohol, and therefore when alcohol, that is aldehyde, when it is reduced with a hydrogen in presence of a palladium catalyst, it form a primary alcohol. You have to remember this. The same thing we can observe for the reduction of ketones. Okay, in the ketone form, for the ketones, we're going to write that is R, C double bond O, and R dash. So now you can notice here the R and R dash may be same or different, whatever it is, but it can be reduced using the hydrogen gas in presence of metal catalyst like palladium, and we get here the product that is R, COH, and here is one R dash, and here hydrogen is get attached. You can notice that this carbon is connected directly with the two alkyl groups, and therefore it is forming here secondary alcohols, and we used here the ketone as a substrate. So whenever the ketones are reduced, we get a secondary alcohols, and we don't get a tertiary alcohols when taking aldehydes and ketones. Let it be. And we move to the next part, that is even you can use some of the reagents like lithium aluminum hydride. The reducing agents are lithium aluminum hydride. You can use here sodium borohydride, NaBH4, or you can use here sodium in presence of ethanol, that is C2H5OH. So many reagents are there to reduce the ketones and the aldehydes. Okay, and I have one important discussion over here, that which one is more reactive here between the ketone and aldehydes. So aldehydes are more reactive as compared to ketones, because addition of the hydrogen takes place if the molecule, that is the polarity of the carbonyl group, is more. So but in the aldehydes we have only R group, that is C double bond O, and here is H. You donate only one electron donor is there, and in the ketone we have here two electron donors. Okay, and by that the polarity of this group is decreased, and the reactivity of aldehydes is more than the ketones. Okay, hope you understood this. Let's go for the next one, C part, that is the reduction of carboxylic acids. Reduction of carboxylic acids. Okay, you can notice here in the carboxylic acid we have the functional groups like R, C double bond O, OH. Okay, and this can be reduced with very strong reducing agents like the molecule which provide the nascent hydrogens. Okay, we need here 4 nascent hydrogens, and that can be produced by using lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, and we get here R, C, H2, CH2, OH. Okay, along with that, this group also reduced here, OH convert into H2O. Okay, and whenever the carboxylic acids are reduced with the lithium aluminum hydride, they produce here primary alcohol, and this one is the carboxylic acid. You should know this. Okay, I'm not going to discuss a particular example here. Next one, the D, that we use here the reduction of esters. Reduction of esters. Okay, and here also we can reduce the esters by using the hydrogen gas in presence of metal catalyst. First we need here ester, that is R, C double bond O, and O, R dash. Okay, now what I do that, here I take the hydrogen gas, 2 molecules of hydrogen gas is required, and I treat this with the hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst, and then I get here R, CH2OH. You just notice that the one more alcohol is produced here because this bond breaks here, and we get here ROH. So we get this molecule. Hope you understood this, right? An important thing that the esters easily undergo the reduction than that of the carboxylic acids. So that is important point we have to notice here. So if you take here esters and carboxylic acids, so esters are more reactive. Okay, hence the ester can be converted to alcohols by using the reduction with the that is hydrogen in presence of nickel, palladium, platinum catalyst. But in the carboxylic acid reduction, we need a very strong reducing agent like lithium aluminum hydride. No doubt that we can use the lithium aluminum hydride in the reduction of ester, but we don't require that. We can reduce the esters by very economically cheaper rate by using a hydrogen gas in presence of nickel. Okay, then I'm going to discuss here the Grignard reagent, the very well-known reaction Grignard reagent. So from the Grignard reagent also we can prepare the alcohols. Let's see a reaction what we have. The first going to write, this is actually the fourth possible way for the preparation of alcohols using Grignard reagent. Using Grignard reagent. And everyone know that the Grignard reagent can be represented here as RMgX. Sometimes this is called as an organometallic compound. Organometallic compound. Okay, so this is the first point. So thing is that we have different variety of cases here to understand how the Grignard reagent can be helpful for the preparation of alcohols. I will take here case number one, where I treating the Grignard reagent with formaldehyde, that is H, C double bond O, and here is H, and Grignard reagent I represent here, that is R, Mg, X. Very simple reaction, very beautiful reaction it is. So first thing I want to tell you that this C and O bond is very polar bond, because oxygen is highly electronegative, and because of that oxygen gains a negative charge, and hence at the same way the carbon gains here positive charge. Now this carbon is electron deficient. And come to the Grignard reagent. The Grignard reagent is very useful reagent which can produce carbon anions. You can see that the carbon carrying the pair of electron towards itself, because the carbon is more electronegative as compared to magnesium, and magnesium is a metal that is always electropositive, that have a tendency to give the electron. So now what happens? The R take its bonding electron and get migrate towards this electron deficient carbon of carbonyl group. At the same time, oxygen withdraw its bonding electrons or pi electrons, and we get a product here. The product is H, C. This becomes O minus, and here is hydrogen which is already present, and then we have here R group. And you can notice that oxygen gains here negative charge, and magnesium also getting here positive charge, and therefore this magnesium and X get migrate towards the oxygen, that is MgX. Okay, now this molecule we have to reduce. This is intermediate right now, so this we have to reduce, hydrolyzed in presence of acidic or acid in dilute acid we have to use. So we get the product H, C, and here is OH, and here is H, and now on this side we have R. And you can notice that this is a carbon which is connected with directly with one alkyl group, and therefore we get here primary alcohol, and we used here formaldehyde. Okay, it means that formaldehyde always give a primary alcohol. Okay, move to the next part, that is case number 2. In that I use aldehyde again, but other than a formaldehyde. Okay, I will use here R, C double bond O, H. So this is the formaldehyde, not a formaldehyde, other than formaldehyde. The R never be here H. R is not equals to H. Or other than H, it may be anything, CH3, C2H5, whatever it is. So now here in this case, we are treating this with a R dash. Okay, but I will take some other color. R dash Mg X. The same kind of reaction taking place here. So here again, oxygen having a negative charge, carbon is electron deficient. This R dash having a pair of electrons or bonding electron, take its bonding electron and get migrate towards the electron deficient carbon. At the same time, oxygen withdraw its bonding electron towards itself, and now the reaction proceeds, and we get the product R, C, O. Here I am going to write MgX, and then here is one hydrogen, and then we have here R dash. Okay, and we have to hydrolyze it, H2O in presence of acid, and we get a product that is R, COH, and here is one hydrogen still, and here we have that is R dash. You can notice that this carbon which is holding the OH group is connected with the two alkyl groups here, or two carbon groups, and therefore it is secondary alcohol. So it means that other than formaldehyde, all other aldehydes gives secondary alcohols. Okay, now move to the next case number 3. In the case number 3, we have the reaction between the ketones and Grignard reagent. The ketones can be represented as here, that is R, C double bond O, R dash. Okay, now it is allowed to react with the Grignard reagent, so that is R, Mg, X. I will take here R double dash. It will be useful to differentiate. So now again oxygen gains negative charge, carbon gains positive charge. This R double dash take its bonding electron and get migrate towards electron deficient carbon. Oxygen withdraw its bonding electrons, particularly pi electrons, and it proceeds and form the compound R, CO minus, then here is R dash, and on this side we have R double dash. Okay, and along with that we have here MgX also. We have to hydrolyze it, After the hydrolysis, we get R, C, here is OH. Okay, better I will write here H2O in presence of acid. And then I get here R dash, then remaining part R double dash. Notice that this carbon, which is directly connected to carbon number 1, 2, 3. Therefore, it is tertiary alcohol. So it means that whenever you use the ketone, you will get tertiary alcohols. Okay, these are some general examples I just explained you to understand how the Grignard reagent can be used for the preparation of alcohols. Hope you understood this. Thank you for watching, students.